Hey everyone! So with Ramadan approaching for many of our students, I thought it would be super helpful to put together a quick guide. Just share some practical tips so we can all create the best, most supportive environment possible. Okay, let's jump right in.
So, this is really the big question we're tackling today, isn't it? And look, this isn't about becoming an expert overnight. It's just about being aware, being empathetic, and having a few key strategies at our back pocket to help our students really thrive during this important time.
Here's how we're going to break it all down. First, we'll touch on the basics of what Ramadan is. Then, we'll try to step into our students' shoes. After that, we'll get into the really practical stuff, classroom adjustments, our school's approach to prayer, and we'll wrap up by looking at how to foster a truly inclusive vibe in our classrooms.
Okay, first things first, let's just build a little bit of foundational understanding. Because getting the what and the why behind Ramadan is absolutely key to providing support that's actually meaningful.
So what is Ramadan exactly? Well, it's the 9th month of the Islamic lunar calendar, and it's a really sacred time. Fasting is obviously the most well-known part, but it's so much more than that. It's really a whole experience that's about prayer, deep reflection, and just strengthening those community bonds.
Now, to really understand the physical side of this, students who are fasting won't be eating or drinking anything, and yep, that includes water, for about 15 to 18 hours every single day, from sunrise to sunset. So as you can imagine, that's going to have a pretty big impact on their energy and hydration.
So with that in mind, let's shift gears and talk about the daily student experience. This is all about putting ourselves in their shoes, just for a moment, to build up our empathy and awareness.
So what might you actually see in the classroom? Well, it's pretty normal to expect some tiredness or thirst, especially as the day wears on. You might notice their energy and focus kind of goes up and down. And yeah, they might seem a bit more distracted, especially in those afternoon classes. The key thing to remember is this is all totally normal. It's something we can anticipate and plan for.
Which brings us right to the heart of it all. What can we actually do? Let's talk about some practical, actionable ways we can adjust things in the classroom to give our students the support they need.
This really lays it out perfectly. It's all about finding a balance. So on one hand, it's probably a good idea to limit things like, say, super strenuous PE activities late in the day, or maybe high-energy group work in the afternoon. But on the other hand, we can actively encourage a great environment by having a calm space for a student who just needs a minute, being a bit more flexible with participation, and just offering some gentle encouragement. It's about small tweaks, not a total revolution.
All right, next up is a topic that I know can sometimes feel a little uncertain. How do we handle prayer? It's a really central practice for many students during Ramadan, and we want to get it right.
Okay, I want to be super clear about our school's guidance here so we all feel confident and on the same page. Students do not need to and should not leave class during instructional time to go pray. This is just to make sure they're not missing out on any important learning. And the way we support them is by providing a dedicated prayer room right here at school. Students are welcome to use it during any non-instructional time, like their lunch break. This way, they can absolutely observe their religious practices without any disruption to their classes.
For our last section, let's zoom out from the specific actions and think about the bigger picture. How do we take all these little pieces and weave them together to create a classroom that just feels genuinely welcoming and inclusive for everybody?
Here are 4 simple but honestly really powerful steps. First, just acknowledging the month begins is huge. Second, remembering that lunchtime can be a little tough, so offering a quiet space to read or rest is such a kind gesture. Third, like we've talked about, just recognizing that energy is going to fluctuate. And fourth, if you're ever not sure about something, just reaching out to a student privately and respectfully, that goes a very, very long way. And listen, you don't have to be an expert. Something as simple as a warm Ramadan Mubarak, which just means Blessed Ramadan, can really make a student feel seen and respected. It's these little gestures that are often the most powerful.
Because ultimately, that's really what this all boils down to, right? It's about openness and respect. Our students don't expect us to be perfect. They just appreciate our empathy and our positive intent. Knowing that you're willing to support them is what truly matters.
So, as we finish up, I'll just leave you with this one question to think about. What is one small new thing you can try to implement this Ramadan? It could be anything, adjusting one afternoon activity, or just making a point to wish your students Ramadan Mubarak. Every little effort really does help build a more supportive and inclusive school for everyone. Thanks so much.